Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. And today I have for you a 2 versus 2, yes indeed, a bit of a treat, a 2 versus 2. Reason I haven't been casting a lot of those lately is I haven't been getting a lot of good ones, or at least I haven't been feeling I've been getting a lot of good ones. That's all the thing, you know. Plus, I've rather not been getting a lot of replays in general as of late. I used to get a ton, but then they sort of slipped in. Perhaps people felt, you know, well, you aren't casting my games, well, I'm not going to send them in anymore. Well, trouble is, you know, again, when I'm getting like 40 replays in a week, and I certainly did that a few weeks ago, then of course I bloody well can't cast them all, and of course they're not all going to be great, they're not all going to be amazing. I need to find the ones that have a good flow, that have some interesting action going on. And trouble is, even if you have a good game, I've got good game for no way, I've still realised that, wait a minute, the flow is absolutely terrible. It doesn't really connect, and it doesn't really make for interesting viewing. I mean, you have to remember all those sorts of things. I mean, it's not just, you know, let's go do this. I mean, I can also get all the replays again. And I haven't had to say this in a long time, but again, I rather feel like perhaps, you know, doing it because, again, I've sort of got the people, you know, well, why aren't you casting better games? Well, that's because I don't have any better games. I'm not a sorcerer, nor am I an evil genius withholding all the good games. If I don't get any, I can't cast them. It's as simple as that. So get making some, get better, of course, and certainly I'm getting a lot of replays, you know, with people who seem low level, and then they're fighting actually pretty damn good. So, I mean, it's not like, you know, you're not learning from this channel. Most of you are, some aren't, it seems like, but let's not get into that, of course. But, you know, just keep sending in, keep improving, keep fighting, keep battling and all that. And, of course, keep spreading the word of the Propagandacast so we can get more viewers, more subscribers who might also send in some replays of their own. You know, it's the more players I can get replays of, the better. And, of course, I'm certainly doing my best to sort of pull in all my connections, but, of course, some seem to have just wandered off on their own paths, while others, of course, send in with irregularity because, of course, real life happens and they can't play as much as they'd like to. I certainly try to play as many games as possible, but again, I'm a bit rather busy as of late, plus I have to make a confession. And, of course, this is a bit of an important message. With, of course, Christmas coming up, I will be heading home for the Christmas. It'll be about a week, and the trouble is I can't create enough of a sort of cache of casts to actually cover the entire Christmas period. That is 1 week, so I'll be only able to sort of provide one for every second day during that period, so just, you know, yeah, I can't cast for Christmas. But let's get this started. We are seeing the Allies right here in the north, a nicely double American combination, not those silly American and Brits fighting together. Williamwallacereborn and sininistar, or sininistar, never mind. And who shall they be opposed by? They shall be opposed by Latrodectus unloaded, and of course these chaps are fighting for the 19th Infantry Division, going towards the fatherland, and pegege combined, making one of the Hermann Göring Panzer Grenadier, or Panzer Division, Fallschirm Panzer Division. It had a really long and silly name, but Fallschirm Panzer Divisions, Battalion, which for some reason were not actually with the division, but were sort of, I mean, close to the division as somewhere, but were in fact pretty much on the western front, while the entire division was in the eastern front. Fun fact there. Now, my apologies right there. Interesting enough, and Latrodectus is a bit of an old favourite. Latrodectus Unloaded, the follow-up to the Latrodectus trilogy of Latrodectus Reloaded, and now Latrodectus Unloaded. Commanding this task force, finding himself promoted, in a sense, to lead the training troops and train them, get them ready to fight for the fatherland against the evil Russians on the eastern front. Now they're fighting armies on the western front. And the replacement battalions of the Hermann Göring actually saw quite a bit of fighting, which does make me question how many troops they were able to actually send over to the actual division on the eastern front for replacements. Engineers sort of going on a path forward. All the munitions point rather interesting. Riflemen have arrived, and we are seeing a weapon support center start. Yes, indeed, not the best thing we'd like to see. It can work, but of course then that all comes down to if the two players actually know how to bloody well work together, and that's sort of the problem. You don't always get that, and of course there's always the problem that one player gets worn down while the other one's basically having cookies. But a logistic company, apparently Latrodectus is sort of more of a headquarters unit with a lot of armored cars somehow mixed into this. leading the reconnaissance troops, leading the more experienced, the veteran cadre, I suppose. Volksgrenadiers moving in, of course, in this case, more ersatz or training Panzer Grenadiers opening up from the house. Ooh, this is actually a pretty good angle. Able to got all 4 windows down on these riflemen who are being hit on from all sides. Of course, the pioneers are getting gunned down themselves. They might want to get out of this, but this is in fact not an entirely bad position. Good move there by pegege, the more novice commander of the two. Kettenkraut moving about. First scout car is on the way. Interesting enough, question is, will Latrodectus have any Panzer Grenadiers and all that, but of course you always generally want to ensure, you have some infantry, and don't want to get too, hung up on scout cars or the Sundkraftfahrzeug 221, which was only equipped with a light machine gun. Riflemen taking quite some losses, but further riflemen are arriving to support them. MG42, Schweres MG42, opening up very soon, and there we go. Of course, remember, cover is directional, of course. Right there, it's not covering them. So again, always try to sort of, if you're the attacker, try to hit them where it doesn't cover. Provide protection for the opponent, of course. Try to use buildings where you can. Engineers moving in from north, might be trying to flank. Oh dear, not entirely sure what's going on. Scout car flanking the heavy machine gun, and the heavy machine gun. Oh dear, scout car, don't get in front of the heavy machine gun, you absolute clockwinder. But scout car hunting down something else. It even looks like another scout car ready from Latrodectus. So far doing its best to hold the western front with a Panzer Grenadier team and some armoured scout cars. Perhaps not the most recommendable blockade force. Volksgrenadiers and MG42 doing some nasty damage to these engineers, forcing them away. East is rather open, and American engineers seem to be moving through there. Mortar has arrived from the Americans as well, bombarding the Panzer Grenadiers, forcing them away. Engineers and pioneers fighting for dominance. Engineers hiding there. It looks like the scout cars are moving in for the mortar team. That is less than spectacular. And of course, there's already a problem here. They're not coordinating, and those weapon support teams, are getting knocked out by those nasty little scout cars, doing their nastiest. A third scout car ready. I would suspect that's in fact a small platoon of scout cars he has there. A bit of organizational information there. And of course, the logistic upgrade is in fact, actually more of a command aerial for sort of radio communications for a scout car actually. But then again, all the command vehicles in company of here sort of seem to be, or at least for the Panzer Fleet, end up being converted to other uses. Logistic upgrade for securing territory. Anti-tank half-track, was also reconnaissance platoon leader in fact. And the Vampire half-track, also a command vehicle. Riflemen trying to actually support, but they're on their own, and they're getting absolutely torn to bits, not retreating in time. And that's GG, and for some reason things are slowing down a bit, not entirely sure why. Though I'm starting to suspect it's in fact not fraps, it's something else which seems to be draining power in the background, which I'm going to have to figure out what the bloody hell is. Engineers, oh dear, laying down mines behind enemy lines. That's certainly clever on the roads. Although the scout car still continues, getting engineers in its sights. Let's go have a look at the Williamwallacereborn. I'm not entirely sure it's the right William Wallace. It's probably more of a wannabe. Although he probably is going to end up as dead in front of the elite Reich force. Well, not really elite, since again it's a training unit and a replacement. And of course, this actually had a sort of secondary formation. Actually, there was also the March Battalion, which was basically all about getting all those nice replacements from point A to point B. Though you don't again hear so much about those, although again they probably fought a bit here and there, in particular in Normandy. Again, engineers with flamethrowers coming under fire from the Volksgrenadiers, fresh ones by the look of things. Opening up but getting charged by flamethrowers, and the engineers are not looking too happy about that. And by happy, yes indeed, getting shot down, although the Volksgrenadiers are on fire, and I'm not meaning they're doing extremely well, I'm talking about they're actually on fire. Bunker going up for pegege. Pioneer sneaking through here. Interesting enough, there's been no attempt at mining there. That could actually work quite nicely. And mortar team and heavy machine gun advancing. Heavy machine gun there. Volksgrenadiers getting shot at. Forced away. Scout cars slightly more cautious now, rather realizing they can't attack buildings. Or at least the troops inside. And this one is getting mortared. Sneaky that. Mines and flamethrowers. Lots of mines. In fact, for Williamwallacereborn, again, generally always try to lay down as many mines you can get away with. You can it generally tends to do you pretty well. Supply it now for Sininistar, which of course means he's probably be going for some sort of armored car business, half-track, anti-tank gun, whatever. It looks like a Kampfgruppe no, it's a Panzer Jäger command, my apologies. Armored car ready. Slightly more improved armored car of the two, the leichte Panzerspielwagen, equipped this with the auto cannon. 2 centimeters, by the way. There wasn't anything actually bigger as such in the auto cannon fashion, I suppose. Scout car under fire from the mortar still. Lots of engineers for Sininistar, or Paninistar, I'm not sure. Bunker there. MD-42 perhaps hiding there. Yes, it's not. No, it's getting out. Fancy that. Scout car still moving about, coming under fire from the heavy machine gun and moving in to see some territory. Sneaky, sneaky scout car. A bit of action here as the scout car is getting rushed by flamethrowers and grease guns, although it manages to suppress the engineers with flamethrowers. And of course, note, engineers with flamethrowers are actually faster to be suppressed than regular engineers. Armored car moving in for a bit of fun to support its scout car friend. Of course, both were technically armored cars, but you know, for the sake of the game, all those things might get a bit silly. And again, it's the sort of thing you have to sort of try to sort of emulate history, but you also have to remember that this is still a game. It still has to be fun for either part, and of course it still has to sort of, you know, be fun and not complete mess. Otherwise you end up with a situation where you have a lot of units and they do about the exact same thing, at which point it sort of gets weird. Well, what am I supposed to get then? So, Volksgun is moving about in the east with Pioneer support. Bunker in the center, MD-42. Wait a minute, why is... I mean, this is silly, there's no point in that. Right there, of course, you might want to cover the flank there, but still, no. Not right. Krieg barracks up, Grenadiers, Panzer Schrecks. Now a Kampfgruppe company out of Latrodectus. Latrodectusing it. Mortar still firing from here. Scout car not moving one bit. And Luftwaffe troops have been called in, apparently. Some fresh Luftwaffe recruits for the division to be trained into more proper Panzer Grenadieren have instead just been called into the fight directly, looking very vicious in their blue uniforms with splinter camo over it. Apparently they were a bit lucky to get partly uniformed in the colors of the division. Mines being laid down by pegege. We like to see that again. Mining tends to be sort of the hallmark of a player, at least has got something right. And the Pioneers need to get away there. Negative cover, and BAR's airborne now dropping in. The 82nd Airborne Division ready to support William Wallace. And of course, one thing to note here, one thing you rarely see about this map or use on this map, but you can actually sneak around here. Sneaky, sneaky. Sneaking about with his sneaky troops, so keep that in mind. Volksgrenadiers engaging the riflemen. Volksgrenadier fighting from the bastion of the wooden fences. And yes, I'm not entirely sure why flaps seem to be dropping in frame rate, but there you go. Fighting onwards, riflemen going down. They, you know, you might want to consider not trying to take a point in front of a lot of Volksgrenadiers. You know, it's a bit awkward. Lots of engineers, flamethrowers, airborne, riflemen. Death advancing on the Volksgrenadiers. They're catching on fire. Oh my god, it's a Wehrmacht barbecue. And it's the Wehrmacht getting barbecued. Oh dear. Grenadiers pushing through in the west, supporting the... Well, there's not much of an effort for Latrodectus. Again, he's sort of lacking the sort of thing that can take ground, you know. Oh dear, you don't place your mortars next. Oh bother, that was absolutely silly and needless. Although Rangers are now arriving to lead the way for Sininistar, will they be able to illuminate his path? Or will Sininistar keep fumbling about in the darkness of his own mind? I'm not sure. Another mortar half-track apparently getting ready. Quite a few mortar scout cars sort of securing what they can, ensuring a lot of resources. Panzer once more hiding in the, well, less than old empty barn at this stage. More blown apart barn. Only 2 Panzer Grenadiers, though. Again, I'm not liking this heavy lack of infantry on the behalf of Latrodectus. And he certainly could get those Luftwaffe troops to the front line. They're not exactly bad troops. They can fight, in particular with a bit of offensive veterancy. They can be very nasty. Rangers moving in. Scout car moving forwards. Getting fusilated by bazooka rockets. Grenadiers moving in. Could be grenading the Rangers inside. And there we go. Grenading. 3 Rangers down. My goodness, those Grenadiers are certainly doing well. And Well, that's a bit of a rarity. One incendiary grenade. Apparently Latrodectus has some explaining to do, since he's apparently stuffing his incendiary rounds with something else than just incendiaries. Christ. That's certainly become a burning mausoleum quite quickly. And the mortar team, well, the engineers secure a mortar, becoming a mortar team, then running away. Oh wait, it's about time to have a look at pegege, who's moving out with a rather large force. It's not time to and of course that's sort of what I call, a march battalion formation, He's not doing this to attack. Of course, it's just the clever thing to know if you want to get a lot of units somewhere to point X, from point A to point B, as opposed, just clamp them up and get them moving. Of course, that's the fast thing. Of course, just hope you don't get caught out in the open by something. So that, of course, is the sort of thing. But again, it can't, manage all of those units when you just need to get them moving. That's a bit silly, but airborne and engineers hunting around here. Volksgrenadiers moving in. Not entirely sure why. MG42 setting up to cover this approach. And there we go. Grenades flying over the bocage. Volksgrenadiers not getting support from the grenadiers. Veteran 1. Panzer phase completed. Latrodectus holding the west. Armored car though has arrived, and Latrodectus is rather silly, realizing he's a bit lacking in the anti-tank assets. Absolutely brilliant. Apparently he should perhaps not be in command of the Replacement and Training Battalion. Grenadiers getting scorched. This is absolutely a disastrous engagement, of course, running into the the mouth of the enemy. Jaws of the rifleman and airborne. That is less great. Rifleman moving about in the east. Still nothing else though from this base. Not a lot else here. But this has utterly collapsed. Some airborne with recoilless rifles moving in from William Wallace and sininistar. Of course, with this armored car, anti-tank gun could be recruit. Please don't tell me you're going to use your engineers for that. Thank God. But Latrodectus is in a bit of trouble. He's in the sort of problem where he rather realizes, oh wait, I forgot the anti-tank assets. Silly me. Now my men and tank vehicles are dying. And armored car laying down some mines on the road. Of course, perhaps hoping to catch some of Latrodectus' units. Of course, vehicles do have a tendency to take the roads if possible, since they move faster. Good lord, you must have... Yes, he is floating 300, but just a fun fact. Latrodectus was floating 200, so perhaps he shouldn't, be going on about that. Just a thought. Kettenkrauts could be in a bit of trouble, not looking too well for the Allies, though. The 19th Infantry Division has rather faltered in the face of the Replacement Battalion, attacking with valor. Well, some valor until it's got kicked back. Bit too much, moving in hordes, and again, this was just a bit bad. He could have tried to attack from us in several directions. Good heavens! And the Kettenkrauts are on the move, sneaking about like tracked mice, and hitting mines. Right here, of course, again, good usage of mines. Grenadiers having already lit the way. The march formation advancing, mines being laid down there, of course. Not a bad idea, sort of mine places where you've already seen them gone off. I mean, most people don't think about it that much in some senses. I mean, a lot of the times you can't get away with just mining the same spot over and over again. It's unbelievable. Well, it is believable, really. Most people don't keep back. A small vehicle pool. Now the final bit going up there at the Panzer Support Command. Panzer is repairing it. Latrodectus really needs to get moving, push the attack. Make an effort, Latrodectus. Show your valor. And riflemen flanking through here, clearing out some pioneers, and an MG42 causing a collapse. Grenadiers getting ready for an assault in the center. Grenadiers and Volksgrenadiers and riflemen airborne moving in for the hunt. Scout car from Latrodectus, not the armored car. Grenadiers caught out in the open. And the scout car advances, thankfully. Oh wait, it gets sticky bomb, but no recoilless rifles for William Wallace's other airborne team. And there we go, immobilized. Oh dear, this scout car is doomed. Doomed, I tell you. Airborne and riflemen and rangers fighting in unison, forcing away the grenadiers and riflemen. And in fact, they could clear out this machine gun bunker soon, which clearly wasn't placed out too well. And there we go, recoilless rifle rounds. Bazooka, no. Come on, get your mind together, you buggers. And of course, time for the mid-game analysis. Currently, the Americans are in fact holding either side here. They could sort of be slowly creeping through here, sort of catching the Axis forces in the center, thus going for the vicious pincer maneuver. Of course, they could also sort of falter and muck about a bit. But currently, you know, Latrodectus is rather, you know, heavily in the light vehicle, not suited for assault department, and lacking in the units that could actually conduct an assault department. Although he is reinforcing and increasing the squad sizes of his Panzer Grenadiers, he could also, you know, pull in those Luftwaffe troops again. They can fight. Trust me, they can, you know. And in fact, they have a sort of strange advantage when fighting alongside Panzer Grenadiers. Most people tend to forget them, so they can actually get away pretty unscathed. And pegege needs to learn how not to bloody well float resources. Again, rule of thumb, if you're suddenly finding yourself with a lot of resources, you're not entirely sure what to do, just spend them. Just spend them. And of course, the Americans might want to consider getting some armor, might of course consider pushing onwards, not just, you know, holding what they have and laying down march, but, you know, forwards, attack, onwards, towards destiny, or something similar. But let us return to the fight. Let us have a look at Latrodectus Unloaded, who's clearly not floating that many resources, who's now getting the Panzer Support Command upgrade. Mortar half-tracks. Yeah. Let's just pretend we didn't see that. Mines being hit there. Pegege's mines, and the mortar half-tracks are ready. Blasting away. Rangers advancing. Airborne could move into support. Might actually be an idea. And there we go. Bazooka rockets. Riflemen. Mortar half-track taking heavy damage from the airborne. Oh, Riflemen getting burned alive. Retreat and move in those damn airborne. And hitting another mine. Bazooka left behind. Sticky bomb on the mortar half-track on the other one. Where are those airborne? Anti-tank are dropping in, but move in those airborne. Oh dear, this is absolute chaos. Rifleman airborne, dying, horror. Bazooka picked up. Rangers moving in. Anti-tanker knocks out the armored car. Airborne and Rifleman need to get away. And where's those damn medic stations? Rifleman still burning. Armored car now moving in. Finding away the main gun and 50 caliber machine gun. Wreck of the... Oh dear, this is not looking well. Pegege moving in MG42 to prop up the Panzer Grenadier, the slightly more veteran or seasoned troops of the battalion, which has so far been sent in. Armored car not moving in to provide support. This is an absolutely missed chance for the armored car to wreak some havoc. Oh dear, but Latrodectus pushes... No, that's a lot of pioneers pushing onwards. Was the first going to hit a mine. Less than enthusiastically well. But getting ready to call in some Panthers. Apparently has gotten contact with the Panzer Ersatz Battalion, although they didn't really get Panthers, so I suppose it must have been a Panzer Battalion, perhaps the 106th, the Feldherrn Halle Battalion. Oh dear, these airborne need to retreat, and there we go. We are seeing a medic station, in fact, there, and apparently there has been previously been one since this one is just going up. Armored car finding away, lots of grenades with Panzer 6, some with BARs. Armored car blasting away, needs to be a bit careful where the Rangers were anything to support it. And why aren't they getting any heavy machine guns now when they actually need it? You know, now there's hordes of infantry moving about in clumps. Rangers holding the line as the Grenadiers advance. Mortar needs to retreat. Wixook. Get away, run away. Nope, cleared out. That was a bit of a waste. Rangers flying away. Bloody hell, blasting to bits a Grenadier team which had stolen the BAR. And these Grenadiers might also be losing. The Rangers, in fact, having the advantage of having elite armor. That's one of the differences between Grenadiers and Rangers. Rangers are more automatically start out with elite armor. Grenadiers need veterans upgrades. Another heavy machine going up, but you know, anti-tank and stolen. They need to push onwards, and there we go. Airborne riflemen, engineers with flamethrowers, everything. And other airborne now dropping in, but the east has been secured by the Wehrmacht, by the Ersatz Battalion. Could you repair, please? No, I can't, but I'm sure your teammate could. Latrodectus. Mortar stolen by the dastardly folk of the Wehrmacht. The Kraut stole our mortar. Damn it. Well, their mortar, I suppose I'm more of the Kraut. Come to think of it. And Panthers almost getting ready from the Panzer Battalion, Panzer Brigade. There we go, Panzer Brigade. And anti-tank wants more recruit, but it has to be careful. You know, mortars nearby. Mortars, Granatenwerfers. And an Ostwind ready from Pegege, using his Panzer Command to get an Ostwind. And of course, again, a hallmark of, I'd say in most cases, more novice players. They just get a lot of Bugger me, a lot of incendiary grenades right there. No, I'm talking about a lot of Ostvins. Sort of thinking they're sort of a magical talisman which will save them from all evil. Until, of course, a Sherman tank appears, in which case you're buggered. But so in this case, not a lot of anti-tank assets, and no tanks at all. And why on earth is everything else over here and not in the center? Seems to be a bit of a bad distribution of resources. And the Luftwaffe are still not being used. Come on, Latrodectus, use the Luftwaffe. You silly little bugger. And I'm seeing Panthers, yes indeed. Proudly driving onwards for glory and fatherland. Ostwind sort of just blasting away. Machine gun emplacement desperately trying to save itself, but rather realizing that an Ostwind is an Ostwind and it's only got a machine gun. Another anti-tank gun ready. Dropped in by William Wallace. Apparently this William Wallace had a lot of anti-tank guns from above. Another anti-tank gun setting up home to get that Ostwind. And there we go, Ostwind under fire. And this Ostwind could in fact go down. Will it go down with a damaged engine? It's quite likely in fact. There we go, out of control. And Panzer grenades immediately counter-attacking, some with a bazooka even, and the anti-tank gun is getting cleared up because there's no support. And the machine gun emplacement is in fact cleared out. There's a bit of a poor unit preservation. I can't help but feel on the behalf of the Allies. Rangers not doing much to support their comrades. And now when there's again a need of a machine gun, it's not there. Oh, a heavy machine gun because the Americans threw it away. In a silly situation, and Panthers are advancing for the fatherland, opening up on the Rangers. Engineers going down. This is absolute madness. Carnage. Mortar rounds flying. Rangers doing their best to hit the frontal armor, the Panthers, but of course the frontal armor is too thick. But the thing is, the side armor of the Panther was actually reasonably weak. A bazooka could in fact take on that, I believe.
Enemy unit down.
Mortar half-track goes down, but the Ostwind continues to hunt. Veterans free, in fact. Airborne getting slaughtered by the Panzer Grenadiers. Quite veteran by this stage, and ready to, of course, be sent off to the Eastern Front after this. Of course, not as a punishment, but of course. And looks like Williamwallacereborn, unlike the Scottish man he names, is in fact putting his tail between his legs and running away. So again, not the highest level replay, but I thought, you know, it had some good action, some fun bits. And of course, again, if you want good replays, you know, send them in yourself. And of course, I am a bit lacking in the Allied side replays, so of course, send in those in particular. I mean, it seems to be a lot of I only get a type 1 game. Panthers opening up on the riflemen.
Grenades have arrived.
Desperate lack of everything, and now he's getting a supply yard. Of course, that's the AI. A lot of shattered things here, not a lot of units at all. The American, the only one really having anything left. Or the other one. Mr. Sininistar.
Infantry squad reporting casualties.
And the rifleman team was blown to bits by the Panthers. Less than great. Not entirely sure why it's getting a half-track.
We're at 200 points.
Kitten Kratz moving out. Fallschirmjäger's now dropping out. And looks like this anti-tank gun is again in problem.
After our victory point.
Not entirely sure why sending in that half-track without anything. Less than good. American forces putting through in the east. And Fallschirmjäger's getting, oh dear, slaughtered. And apparently pegege has gone blitzkrieg, going for assault. Rangers trying to close in with the submachine guns, but they are taking losses from grenades. Oh dear. And the Ostwind now arrives. Gunner killed, and a mine is hit by the Ostwind, damaging the engine. Oh dear, this is utter carnage. Let's just speed this up. This is pretty much game over, I'd say. pretty much game over with no chance of getting back with an Allies. In fact, let's just end it here. I know some of you don't like it, but again, you know, there's not going to be much happening here. This is pretty much game over. And again, yes, I know, not a highly exciting, high-level play, but again, send them in or get someone to send them in. I can't cast them if I don't have them. So there you go. I mean, what can we learn from this? You know, mining is good, but again, you know, the weapon support starting a team game. Be very, very careful about it. You know, use it to support your teammate. Do not try to stand on your own, and that rather what went wrong for sininistar, which meant he didn't have a lot of heavy machine guns, which could have done well later on. And again, unit preservation, not good placement of medic stations, I feel. And again, a general lack of coordination between the Allies. I mean, at the same time, though, Latrodectus, what a bit of a problem, you know. Again, when the armored cars hit, he suddenly felt himself first to bay. And again, he couldn't really either launch any attacks for some time either. So again, you know, don't go heavily on the scout cars either. Doesn't necessarily work. And of course, a lack of infantry, not good either. And of course, then he had a lot the Luftwaffe troops, but apparently couldn't be asked to use them at any stage when, you know, they could have helped. So of course that's something to be careful of, and of course don't spam Austrians with veterancy 3, they won't help you if your opponent actually gets armor. So there you go, I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends, and if you didn't, well, why not tune in for tomorrow, and of course feel free to send in a replay of your own. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.